Hello there, beautiful people. How are you doing? I'm slightly delirious, so I honestly can't remember when I saw you last. I do know that I was not planning on seeing you today because I'm slightly delirious, babes. I had to work. I didn't go to bed until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I got woken up at like 6:45 against my will, neighbor being loud. Um, Neighbor's dogs. What are you gonna do? Um, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And that lasted, I think, all of an hour. Started getting some DMs about some foolishness on the internet. And I said, I swear to God, it was like I rose from the dead. I was supposed to take the day off today. And so I was fully committed to that. Cause I'm not, I'm not feeling well. Um, and I had really like released myself to that, I was like, it's okay. You can rest. It's okay. You can go ahead and say like I can't do shit. You know what I mean? And I fully let myself get into that mindset. Baby rose up so fast. Rose up so fast. We'll get to it. Hello, beautiful people. Hit the like button. Share the live. Yeah. It is good to see you. And despite the fact that I spent most of the day feeling like crap, it's good to be seen by you. I think I'm in like I went from like, "Oh god," to like, "Let's go." So, I'm at the delirious stage. Bear with me, okay? This is your first time seeing me. Welcome, and you're welcome, and preemptively, I'm sorry. Hit the like button. Shout out to all the members, all the subscribers, all the supporters in all of the places, all of the contributors. Shout out to Chris with a K. If you happen to pop in, the chat's gonna get you. If Chris with a K pops in, everybody's gonna say happy birthday. Okay. Shout out to Robin S. You sent me a little something, something, and I got it. And then I realized you sent me an email right before this live saying, I sent you a little something. That was on my door. I was like, what time did she send this email? But I will, if you're not watching this or you don't see it in the replay gang, I'm going to email you back when this is over. And yes, shout out to the replay gang. Sorry you couldn't be here. Sure, you're going to run it back. Appreciate you. Shout out to the best mod squad on the internet. They don't play foolishness. Okay. You'll get airlocked out of here so fast. And if it gets too crazy, okay, and people try to bum rush so they can make their fave feel better about what they're seeing in the chat, baby, we'll lock it down to a level you ain't never seen before. And then it will only be the big kids that are chatting. Yeah, everybody else will have to stay at the little kids' table. Oh, okay. Doing my best. How are you all? How are you doing? Nita C, good to see you. Flash Burnt, Marshall, Tizzy, thank you. Ms. Hummus, good to see you. Demetrius, Double JP, JP. thinking I'm smart here. K Sharp, I am. Well, there you are. Happy birthday, beloved. Well, you know, at the transition, I can't start with the, you know, mixed company and whatnot. But we'll get there. Good to see you all. David. Now, I've been saying Shay E forever. Is it Shy? Lord have mercy. Spooky Ariel. Phoebe. The Done Deal. 72 having fun. Kai and the Kitties. Goldie Vox. If I start repeating your name, it's because I already forgot that I already said your name. I'm delirious. John Werner. Junkyard Jams. It's all right. It's a little confusing for people because you know how we do. I hold it for this and then. We're going to get to it here in this live. Broski, Tiffany, King Link, Unapologetic, The Silver Spoon, YouTube Unfolded. Hello, gorgeous. D2B2, good to see you. I know I'm missing some of you. I'm also, my eyes are a little like I said, I'm doing my best. Sharif, hello, good to see you. Okay, so I had to work last night watching IRL tomfoolery go down. And I was not happy about it. Probably felt a lot of how the way that some of you felt from what I've heard and seen, which was I was on the sidelines like, I could be at home. Why am I here? This is ridiculous. But I just have to sit there and deal with it. But yeah, we're here to talk about it. Okay. We're here to talk about it. Some of the things that I have to say might surprise some of you. Okay. But we're going to talk about it. If you don't know what it is, babes, bye. Ain't got time. Okay. Raise your hand if you saw it or you read it. Transcript. I ain't going to judge you. Okay. I ain't trying to hold you. I'm not going to criticize you. This is a safe space. For real, for real. And I need audience participation. If you saw it, raise your hand. Watched it, didn't watch it, watched it, watched it. Bless your heart. Some of it, 0%. Did not watch, would have busted the monitor. Did not watch, thought I kind of knew how it was going to go. I stayed far away. My blood pressure can't handle that. Okay. Watched it. No, unsubscribed. Watched it. I see nothing. Nope. About 10 minutes. Hello. Nope. Okay. Didn't have the energy. Watched it, was put in timeout. Watched live. All right. Well, listen, I'm just reading, okay? And Kiki does it to me every time if you're new. And you're like, ooh, shade. Child, you'll see the shade when the shade happens here. Okay. This is just me. We getting warmed up, letting folks gather. And I do have some preliminary questions, so I'm trying to get a sense. Okay, that's why I'm asking the question. Kiki says, I saw that it was happening, popped in, saw this nigga sitting in his car and popped right back out. Okay. Watched some of it, heard some highlights, 30 minutes, watched it. Okay. That's self-care. Good to see you all popping in. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you, beautiful. Appreciate you. I watched half of it when I saw the gaslighting. I left. Hello, beautiful. It's the principle of the matter. Respect our sisters, period. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate it. And directly below that is Fateless. I didn't have time to be annoyed yesterday. Watch something else instead. Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody weighing in. I think we're starting to get a sense. And listen, if you thought it was the bee's knees, that's old people talk for. I thought it was great. Your opinion is safe here, okay? You might get a little bit of pushback, but as long as you don't act like a fool, you're gonna be all right here. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 5, On a scale of 0 to 5, because I know how you are. This is why I'm making the adjustment. I know how you are. If I say 1 to 5, you go be like, you got it wrong. On a scale of 0 to 5, 5 being best roundtable I've seen in 2026. 0 being snap in Z formation, hated it. What's your rank? It got real vomitous real fast. Kiki always just, I'm sorry. I cannot play cards with Kiki at the table. I will be so screwed up. Ms. Hummus now. Stop trying to get me in trouble. Okay. That's fine, Nessa. 0, I have seen every episode of CU. This was horrible. King Link, -5. Saw nothing, but I feel accurate with this rating. 3.5. Hey, gorgeous. Okay. All right. I think we're getting a sense here. Okay. How many of you felt like, for those of you who saw it, we'll do thumbs up, thumbs down. How many of you felt like you learned something that materially changes your perspective from whatever your perspective was going in? So that's your own judgment. You don't have to say what the specifics of, what it was, but you if you knew that something was going on, right? And it wasn't a surprise to you, and you had thoughts and opinions or expectations or whatever. Thumbs up, you learned something new that materially changed your perspective. Thumbs down, you did not. I know that there's a lot of thumbs down, and the chat is on the screen, but I am trying to catch the I'm like, "There's gotta be some in here somewhere." So I'm, also halfway blind, but I'm trying to be representative of what it is that I'm seeing. Kikira said there was 1, move on. Okay. I added the move on, but okay. 2. There's 2. There's 2. There's 2. Kiki says it looked the same as the Rap Roundtable convo, except he was in his car. Like his mom said, "Don't come back till the streetlights come on." Kiki, everyone. Kiki. Okay, we got 3 and I think that means maybe a little bit if I'm seeing the I'm not sure what that is, but I think it might be this. Okay. Uh, okay, get your emojis ready, okay? This is gonna be an emoji one. This is fun, and then we're gonna move on, but I'm trying to get a sense here because I heard a lot, okay? So I'm trying to get a sense here. Um, heart emoji. You felt good about it. Whatever that means for you, right? You left feeling better than when you showed up. Poop emoji. You did not have that experience. Mm, mm. Okay, well, then there's these. I mean, whatever. I see what you did there. I see what you did. I felt great giving it no time and energy. Okay. Okay, I see a lot of poop diddy scoop so far. Is this because Furry Bee Productions, does this heart mean that you felt better getting away from it? Because that wasn't the question, but I guess it could be. Got it. Okay, lots of poop diddy scoop. I'm never quite sure how to interpret this, but I'm putting it up. Yeah, I got this sense from a lot of people. They were feeling some kind of way. Just wind. Not poop, but not heart. Neutral. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, thank you. Could have been directed at me, you know what I mean? Like, I say stuff and then immediately forget. So, okay, thank you for clarifying. Kiki said, "Pour one out." Blue Ranger X11 said, "I'm in the middle." Ms. Hummus said, "Kobe, Kobe, Kobe, Kobe." See what I did there? Tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. You're very witty. I used COVID distancing guidelines. No views, no shorts. Nothing you learn surprise you. Okay. All right. Well, so on my end, aside from the IRL tomfoolery, it was rather quiet. Suspicion face. I was definitely braced for an influx of, Discord alerts and DMs and you know, but it wasn't, what it could have been. Um, I have read the transcript. I have watched a couple clips because there were a couple things in the so I needed to just kind of get a couple 30 seconds. I read the whole chat because that's the conversation that we're having today. once again, it's about you. Other content creators will be mentioned, but it's not really about them. It's about you, right? And then I was like, bed, right? Bed. And then, like I said, the tomfoolery popped off on the internet, and I was like, no, I'll be speaking for myself. So, for those of you who are trying to leave comments in places about who ABSA has a beef with, you don't speak for me. Okay? I'll just say that much and stop being messy. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Slap the like button. So, from everything that I saw, it falls into 2 categories. Okay? Not happy that it even happened. Right? Just the live stream itself. Not happy about that. Second thing, lack of an apology. And I know you're like, there's more than that. I said those were the buckets, beloved. Okay. Here are some of the bullet points. Okay. Your comments, your messages, your posts, your reactions, your videos, your social media posts, your comments, your messages. Did I say all of that? Okay. I think I covered it. Okay. I think I encapsulated like where it's all coming from. And then, of course, the live chat. This is kind of the main categories. There were concerns about the participants, there were concerns about the topics, concerns about lack of pushback. You'll notice some of these have an asterisk next to them because I'm attempting to be neutral in my language and giving as much grace as I possibly can so that folks know I'm not just, for anybody who's watching this who feels like I'm talking about them, that I'm not just coming in here hot to necessarily affirm that all of these things happen. We're talking about perspective. Okay. Bias, insulting the audience, insulting content creators, sneak disses and shots during the live, the perceived exclusion of panelists, and avoidance of topics. So that's what we're going to address. Okay. We're going to watch a little something. Because I've literally just finished a video before this live. It is now on the videos tab. Okay. So let me get my ish together here. Now I'm if I did this right, I'm about to move for the first time up into the little corner. Look at that. There I am. I might have to take myself off screen altogether. But we're going to start with, I'm going to run this video, okay? Because once I had like consumed all of your, reactions and thoughts, hot takes, I started my day with Moni's video. So shout out to Moni. That was one of the first things because I got a notification that I was tagged in it. So first of all, thank you for tagging me when you're talking about me. Girl, I know you know. And yeah, great video. No notes. No notes per as. Yeah, hopped around a couple different places, but then when I saw some things of people invoking what my stance is on this and what my, in a way that I thought that was not helpful, just straight up. I know that there are people that are trying to be helpful, and I know that you were mad last night. Okay, I saw enough DMs and posts that I know that people were upset last night, and I know that people woke up this morning like cracking their knuckles. We're about to get into it, and do not fault you for your feelings. Okay, I really don't fault you for your feelings. But when we wake up as a collective, and I mean we, the internet, not looters. Let me be very clear: the internet, not necessarily looters. When we, as the internet, wake up collectively irritated about something, baby, we can come in hot, okay? Come in hot. All gas, no brakes. Josh Johnson. I did not have time to clip that, but I'm going to be adding it to my buttons, okay? So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get on it, and this is gonna be hard because I when I went to bed last night, I was like, I was not going to see you today. You are the reason why. I literally spent, I think that happened at like 7:45, 8:00. I've literally been here since then. First, it was trying to figure out like, what do I want to say? How do I want to organize this? And then it was writing it, recording it, editing it. Like I literally finished just before I went live. So, I did my best with the graphics and all that. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna play a couple seconds of this. You're gonna give me thumbs up or thumbs down to let me know. Okay. That you can hear it. And then I might go away because, child, I can't even remember what's on screen. I feel like I should probably not be in the way. But here we go.
There appears to be two main points that audience members who witnessed last night's live interview and panel discussion seem pretty upset about today. The first issue is that the discussion even happened, where it took place, who led it, who participated, and who didn't. Many viewers suspected that people were intentionally excluded from the panel in favor of those who were biased in favor of Lupe Fiasco and biased against anyone who would push back on his statements. The second issue is that many people felt that Lupe's behavior towards content creators, specifically me, could have and should have been addressed, and that he should have been held accountable for that. I'll explain why that's never going to happen in a minute. But first, let's back up. The moment Justin Hunt announced that he was having Lupe on, a lot of people were not happy. Some were outraged and downright pissed off. And you used a lot of colorful and pointed language to get your feelings across. Now, I'm not going to go through the transcript line by line and weigh in with my every thought. What I am attempting to do is zoom out and to hopefully provide some helpful perspective so that folks can take a breath and a step back, because a lot of you woke up hotter than fish grease. And do not get me wrong, I get it. But if you're looking for me to drag everyone for filth, you've come to the wrong place, at least today. Oh, I have feelings and a lot of thoughts. But my vibe right now, for the greater good, Elmo loves everybody, except Rocco. So here are the areas that folks seem most concerned or upset about. As I said, the participants, then there's the topics, the lack of pushback, bias, insulting the audience, insulting content creators, sneak disses and shots, exclusion of panelists, and avoidance of topics. Most of these issues can be all couched under bias. The audience perceives that the panel was biased in favor of Lupe, and everything pretty much cascades from there. But everyone has biases. That's part of being human. Bias only becomes a problem when it starts replacing curiosity, when the conclusion is decided before all sides have weighed in, or when loyalty becomes more important than facts. And one of the easiest mistakes people make online is projecting their own morals, values, and expectations onto creators and interviewers. The audience assume the people that they enjoy watching the most, they subscribe, they pay a membership, they're hitting up the super chats. The assumption that they're making, for whatever reason, is that the content creator that they are investing in must share the same morals and values, because that means, audience member, they're doing the right thing by watching and supporting that content creator. In this case, the audience was looking for someone who would ask the hard questions, pursue accountability, and draw the same ethical lines they would draw themselves. And overall, that's really the only thing you need to take away from last night's interview and discussion, is to believe what you saw and what you heard with your own eyes and ears. And this is where it gets tricky, because content creators are under no obligation to create the content you want the way you want it. I have plenty of people who jump into the comments trying to tell me what to do, and they get kicked down the block like Rocco too. Justin isn't obligated to curate the conversations you want to hear. He's not obligated to ask the questions you want answered either. He was completely transparent about having made up his mind about things a long time ago, and he was completely transparent about choosing not to speak to everyone involved. That's how he chose to approach the situation on his platform. And he's not the only one on the panel who was transparent about either not knowing the details of all of the incidents turned topics, or having already made up their minds about those same incidents. But the audience isn't stupid. You're not dumb, beloved. People know when an interview is weighted heavily in one person's favor. They know when difficult questions go unanswered. They know when a conversation functions more as image repair than genuine accountability. They don't need another creator or commentator to tell them what they watched or what they should think about it. Don't let people gaslight you about your intentions or your takeaways from last night. Don't let them insult your intelligence as just not getting it, or never being satisfied no matter what a content creator does or doesn't do. Now, in some cases, that is true, and it ends there. But in this case, according to an overwhelming number of you, you felt like the interview was over 5 hours of playing in your face. And when that didn't work, insulting your brain and your motives for asking questions. You saw what you saw, and you heard what you heard. So where do we go from here? I'm gonna get back to that. But first, let's talk about the second issue people were upset about last night that has carried into today. The lack of any objective discussion about Lupe's tactics towards content creators, and the fact that he has not apologized for repeatedly calling yours truly out of her name. Again, this is not a tit for tat or exhaustive blow by blow, just an overview so that we're all on the same page. This is not an attack on anyone. This is a tool to explain why, in this case, it's impossible for the audience to get what it wants. The initial incident was back in January 2025. If memory serves, it was a Sunday. I don't want you to really focus on what was said at each stop along the way that you see here, and this isn't every stop. This is just some of the main ones. But instead, let's try and focus on the impact of how this all went down. This started on my YouTube page. We were both there. A segment of the audience saw the events. And then all of these components are in play. The original participants, the original audience, the original conflict itself, the chronology of what happened, the evidence, the incentives, the emotional context, and so on. Then the situation moved to IG Live, and the components of the original conflict were left behind. It was reconstructed into something else, which was based on only half of the conflict being presented to this new audience who did not have the same information as the original audience on YouTube. That's event reconstruction. From Instagram Live, it traveled back to YouTube and several content creators' live streams and live comment sections. New people get involved and they have different information and different perspectives. And the audience also changes again. Some audience members get left behind and new ones get added who may not know anything about what came before. So now the event, which has already been reconstructed or remixed once on IG Live, with the components changing again, has also been reconstructed again back on YouTube. Wash, rinse, repeat about 4 or 5 times each cycle. Then fast forward to 2026 and we see a similar cycle that started with a video Quality made about lyricism. That's a new event, but details from the original 2025 event and all of its remixes come back around. None of those content creators reached out to me. None of them sought details. None of them sought information. I wasn't involved, babes. I was still in 2025. But regardless, last week, a line was drawn in the sand about how content creators are treated, and calling me out of my name became a major point of contention. And that goes for the audience too, not just content creators. A lot of people were upset that I was called a bitch, which brings us right back around to last night's live stream. Was the topic intentionally avoided? Were other topics intentionally avoided? Well, you don't really have to ask that question because it was already answered. Justin explained that it would not be a topic because Lupe had already addressed the use of the word with other content creators on another channel a few days ago. He said he would no longer refer to me as a bitch, and therefore everyone could move on from that topic. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it came down to, as it was explained last night. The problem is, it was still talked about last night. Lots of code, passive language, by proxy permission for the word bitch to be used. And then, of course, the word being used. And Justin was totally fine with that. And he's the one controlling the conversation on his channel. Remember, he was completely transparent about having made up his mind about things a long time ago. And he was completely transparent about choosing not to speak to everyone involved since then. And he's not the only one on the panel who was transparent about either not knowing the details of all of the incidents turned topics or having already made up their minds. One panelist suggested they would have to think about whether they wanted more information because they too had already made up their mind, which makes perfect sense. That's why they were there. They were like-minded on who should be platformed and why, and what should and should not be discussed. So much so that some of the questions directed at Lupe were answered by his allies while he was there and after he was gone. I personally think it's hella commendable for someone to say out loud in front of everyone, I already made up my mind and I got to think about if I'm willing to consider new information that could change my mind. That is a radical level of honesty we don't get very often. That's someone basically saying, no, I think I'm good with what I got. I'm not sure I want any other facts or information or perspectives because that could mess with my ability to center one person over other people. They don't really care what you want to hear or see as the audience. That's not an accusation. That was clear last night. If you wanted to see something else or hear something else, apparently you have comprehension issues and weren't listening to what was said, or you're just a Lupe hater or a stand for Kendrick. Now, a day later, it's suddenly Lupe needs to apologize for calling Absa a bitch, or we ride at dawn. Now, why you say F me for, baby? Come here. Park that horse. Ain't nowhere to ride to, okay? Social accountability on the internet is messy because there are no universally accepted rules, referees, or institutions. Every community has its own standards. Every platform has its own culture. And every content creator has their own incentives. That means people wind up looking to live streams, apology videos, call out posts, or public debates to provide some sense of justice or reparations or closure or healing, even though none of those things are designed to function like an accountability process, like a reparations process. Another problem is that the internet mistakes visibility for authentic accountability. Every new live stream, interview, reaction video, or call out thread creates the feeling that something is happening, when in reality, the original issue is getting further and further and further away, not closer. Instead of resolving conflict, the conversation gets passed from one creator to the next until people are arguing over completely different versions of the same story. And by then, the original situation has been diluted by commentary and personality and alliances, audience expectations, and yes, glazing. The internet can make a controversy impossible to escape, but that doesn't mean it's any closer to being resolved. And it's also fair to ask, what does an apology accomplish? I'm serious. And another question, how do you know it's genuine and marks actual change or healing or resolution? Those could be rhetorical questions, or you could add your thoughts. If he were to apologize, a lot of people would say that he's just doing it to duck the smoke. Is a fake apology more harmful than a sincere one? Yes, a fake apology is more harmful than a sincere one. So stop demanding that he apologize. He hasn't done anything to suggest that he is remorseful about what happened in 2025 and when it happened again last week. And trying to force him to be sorry or apologetic isn't justice or accountability, and it's not any form of material support for Black women. And look, I get it, okay? I get it, beloved. Last night was, well, you tell me what you think last night was, okay? It was interesting. And people are frustrated. They're exhausted. They want answers, accountability, closure, resolution. Some people don't really give a fuck. They're just bored. And other people are addicted to drama. And they out there in the comment sections today trying to stoke the fire. We see you, Pyro. Knock that shit off. Thanks. You're having a perfectly human response to the situation, especially for people who are genuinely frustrated, especially for people who feel genuinely disappointed because you hoped or expected or believed that it would be different last night. And it wasn't. And you're trying to figure out what to do with that today. The reality of life is not every situation has a satisfying ending. Sometimes life is just messy. And sometimes the damage is already done. Sometimes there isn't a debate that's going to settle everything, an apology that's going to make everyone whole, or an interview that's going to tie the entire situation up with a neat, pretty little bow. The internet has conditioned us to believe that every conflict has one more chapter, one more live stream, one more reaction, one more expose, one more apology, one more confrontation. But every time a story gets passed from one channel to another, it changes. New personalities enter the picture. New audiences arrive with different expectations. Old facts get compressed into talking points. Context gets stripped away, and the original conflict slowly turns into something else entirely. And beloved, that's happened about 8 times over since this all started. Eventually, everybody stops arguing about what actually happened and starts arguing about the version of the story they inherited 6 or 7 remixes later. There comes a point. Every viewer has to decide what they actually believe they saw and they heard last night. People know when they're watching a difficult conversation, and they know when they're watching a public relations exercise. They know when somebody's playing in their face or gaslighting them. They know when questions are answered, when they're avoided, and when they're redirected. And as for me, if you're asking me what it is that I want, well, like I said, sometimes we don't always get what we want. Life is messy. And sometimes the harm is just a wound. And I maintain what I've always said. I'm not getting on a live stream and arguing with belligerents or being set up to be attacked while the host shrugs and hits the sirens for all the super chats rolling in. If anyone wanted to talk to me directly, they could have. They didn't, because that's what works for them. The internet is really excellent at creating outrage. It's excellent at extending conflict. What it has never been good at is producing genuine accountability or meaningful closure. Sometimes the closest thing to resolution isn't getting the ending you wanted. Sometimes it's simply deciding that you've seen enough. You've learned what you needed to learn, and it's time to invest your attention, your trust, and your support accordingly. And if you've already made that choice, thank you. So back to the question, where do we go from here? Well, the mess stays a mess. And based on the conversation last night, the only thing left to get an answer on is what the fuck did Dot supposedly do first?
World premiere. Brum, 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 brum. Mic check, mic check. Somebody said, and I put it on screen earlier, I hear you, APSA, but the frustration is so real. Beloved, I am not telling you to not feel the way that you feel. I'm certainly not going to stop feeling the way that I feel. I'm never going to tell you that, ever, period. I meant what I said at the beginning of the video. I'm going to make an attempt to just zoom out here for a second, right? Because all of these things are tied together. All of this goes into what then came out, it was like, it seemed like part of what happened overnight was because I know that there had been some chatter about, I know that the word apology had been used before, okay? But it just seemed like overnight, from last night to today, because of what happened last night, y'all felt the need to double down. And so let's just have a conversation about, given everything that we have seen, does that seem very constructive? Does that seem very effective? Have you seen me on my high horse with a little picket sign demanding an apology? No, because folks aren't talking to me. They're talking about me. They're applying their own stuff to it. You, as the audience, you are applying your own stuff to it. And you can do that. You can do that. This is a pattern of behavior that has existed. You all the ones that told me when I posted my first video. So this was going on before me. This will be going on after me. So let's not pretend that an apology off rip is going to be received as sincere, right? Or is actually going to be satisfactory to people. And there's been a lot of talk, okay, a lot of talk about support and defend Black women. Because one of them was called out their name repeatedly. I'm right here. This is not the protest. This is not the solution. IMO. IMO. And a couple things. Number one, like I said in the video, damage just becomes a wound. And that's just what it is. And that's for anybody. It sounds like some of you felt like you saw a damaged, wounded individual last night whose defense mechanism is what we have seen displayed on the internet, but not in the lecture halls, only on the internet. So that's one thing. The other thing is, and honestly, this didn't come to me, or I would have included it in the video. I know that other people saw this moment because I've seen comments and clips and people have been talking about it and what have you. So I know other people got this, but I hadn't really processed like the implication of it. There is a moment right before the interview portion of the live ends, and Lupe addresses one of the Black women and makes a comment about, and I'm not saying this is her perspective, I'm just saying what the comment was, okay? Makes a comment about her perspective or, interaction with, I'm trying to be neutral here, the word bitch. And it struck me literally right before this live because I know that it upset people, and it definitely struck me as a thing. And now the words that I have for that are that looks like, I don't know if it is, but I'm gonna tell you what it looks like. It looks like somebody who has figured out a way to actually double back on what it is that he said by making sensitivity to the word "the problem" "Oh, it doesn't bother these other Black women." Sorry, I don't know why I started to get into the Joe Budden voice. Sorry. Stray shot. 'Cause I really did. I said, "It doesn't bother them," but he wasn't there. But that's the kind of rationale that is. That's what it looked like. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like, "Wink, wink. I have figured out a loophole," no pun intended, "through just a plot device that happens to be a female to wink, wink, get it off going forward." Because now it's the sensitivity to the thing and not the, "I was wrong to do that," which again, why would you expect somebody who is behaving in that way to apologize? That was a doubling down. And no, I am not gonna play any clips from that live on this channel. I would get cussed out. Fateless would probably be first. Y'all would be begging, okay? Begging for Jelly Roll's naked titties on the screen, anything but, right, listening to that. I'm already knowing, and I'm not gonna do that. You can go back and watch it yourself. But that definitely struck me as a, "Huh, okay. Alright." You know, "'Kay." So, yeah, we're not gonna do whataboutisms. I'm not doing that because that's bullshit. That's just by people who, don't wanna address the issue head on. And the issue head on is that a Black man stood 10 toes down on his platform and drew a line in the sand in how content creators are treated, perceived, belittled, weaponized, abused, my words, and disrespected. And I've already shared how I felt about that. I shared it in a live. Quality was in the chat. I changed nothing about that. Nothing that I have said before changes. Respect, recognize, respect. And there have been a couple people, and I'm sorry if I haven't seen all of you. There have been a couple people who have been like, Moni, Reed, Skip, Quality, and an untold number of y'all out there in the world. And like I said, I understand. And some of you may be seeing me for the first time, but that whole situation, cracked my exterior thug. I don't know Quality like that. We've never even had a conversation or exchanged a DM. And the Abs is not a bitch live had your girl a little fucked up. Had your girl a little bit fucked up. I shed a couple thug tears before I pulled it back together. So I don't thank you, beautiful. I don't have anything to say about anything that I've said before. And if I did, I would tell you because that's the kind of person that I am. But I don't. This is just kind of like the next step for me of where I am at and what If you are like, well, I'm down for ABSA, okay, well, this is where I am on all of this. There is no pretty bow. It's not going to get resolved to your satisfaction or mine. Last night appeared to be overall unhelpful based on what it is that you have said about what you saw and how you experienced it. And so when people say like, "Well, I don't know what the chat expected," what do you think it is that they actually wanted us to do? That comes across as a disingenuous, insulting your audience question. They've put 2,000 comments in the live. What about this? What about that? It wasn't solely about me. There were several topics. But again, that these situations are complex and nuanced. That's not what they decided to do. They decided to do something else. So what did people want? I think it's very clear what it is that people wanted. And they didn't get that, and they feel all kinds of ways about it for various things. And then it just started other stuff. Right? Who shot John first? Sprinkle, sprinkle hints. But it's not about that other rapper. It's not? I was confused. Was y'all confused? Because I was confused by that. I was like, I don't really. Okay, you know? And that's why when I saw, Moni had tagged me and I saw the title of her video, I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is about. The people got questions. The people go, how you going? And then, but didn't you just? And now you say it was. I was just like, okay, all right, wow. So yes, I wanted us to gather. Hello, I see new people. I see you. Slap the like button. People wanted a fair and unbiased panel. And both things, this is what we have to accept because this is reality, okay? Both of these things are existing at the same time. That is what folks wanted. They are not obligated to provide that. And in terms of the like keeping people off the panel, it's on the company. My understanding, I only did it once, but my understanding is like he's the one who decides based on what it is that is being discussed who's going to be on the panel. It's not like there were people who had equal say who were strong-armed off of being on the screen. There were people that you would have liked to see, and I honor that 1,000% for what it was overall that you wanted to be accomplished last night, and they were not there. The content creator decides what the content is going to be. And I meant what I said in the video. I found the transparency refreshing. I found it very refreshing. Already made up my mind, already talked to who I need to talk to, and then I got to really think about if I want to know anything else. That could change my mind because I've already made up my mind. Radical transparency. Beloved, when people show you who they are, believe them the very first time. So that, again, puts you in the uncomfortable position of deciding what you are going to do as an audience member. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. You already know my feelings overall about, make the algo your bitch and don't let these people play in your face, So I'm already on that. That's not a new message. I've been saying that the whole time that I've been here. Like, you are the ones who decide what gets energy and what you consume and what becomes, the norm in this kind of corner of the internet. You decide that. You have the control over that. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. It just so happened that it was a different YouTube channel, much sloppier, much messier, much, we've already been over that. And that situation is proof that actual adult conversations are possible, because we had one here in Conversations for the Culture, and it wasn't a hot mic situation. It wasn't instantaneous. We didn't even really acknowledge each other for a year and a half. You can go back and watch that Conversations for the Culture. The mods will drop the link. I received an outreach. I received an apology. We had a detailed private conversation. And then there became a point where I really felt compelled that I wanted to rap and that it was a good time. And he was down for it. And what has been interesting to me is there are a couple of you, some of you leave comments, but again, I can see the numbers, behind the scenes. And that conversation has come up again. Maybe it's for some people who are like, ooh, maybe there's some gossip in here. But I know for a fact that some of you are watching that because it makes you feel good because you've left comments. I'm spinning the block on this because I need this right now in the midst of all the headassery that I'm seeing happening on YouTube. That's you saying that. But it takes a certain kind of people, certain kind of adults who also overlap and share that same value system to be vulnerable and get in a closed door room, virtual or otherwise, and have a conversation. And there was nothing guaranteeing walking into that conversation that we were going to walk out like actually like good. It could have just been a, what do you have to say? Here is my robotic response. Thank you very much. Out. And I was like prepared for that. I had otherwise no expectation going in. None. None. So those are pretty much like, that's pretty much a summation of my thoughts. If you're joining late, I put together a nice little video. Okay. So you can run it back in this live. It's also available now on YouTube just as a standalone video where I tried to, contribute my 2 cents. And again, I'm not attacking anybody in that video. I'm not shading anybody in that video. I'm giving my, observations of what happened, what it is that the chat, meaning at all of you that I've seen, right? Comments, video, all of the things have said. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. As far as I'm concerned, as long as this continues to play telephone and the original people involved are never having a conversation, this is fucking ridiculous. And it just gets further away and further away and further away. But like I also said, I'm an adult and life is messy. And sometimes shit just happens and it's not going to get resolved to your satisfaction. And you just got to deal with that. So don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. I ain't raising, babes. I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. So shebang, babes. Yeah, I mean, tensions are high right now. You know, it's not good, and I get it because I don't like to be misrepresented. I don't think there's any there. I mean, there are some things that piss me off more, but it's in the top three because it's unnecessary. And I'm not attributing that to this situation. I'm just saying off rip. I'm just trying to validate what had been said in the chat. Like, come on, fam. You know. So I don't really. I'm here. We're here for at least another 50 minutes or so, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like, yeah, I can't, you know, tell y'all what to do. And I've made it clear. I've made it clear in the Discord. Like, when somebody drops a link and they're like, they're talking about apps, I'm like, let me leave. I'm not going to give instruction, right? About what to do or go raid or say this or say that. Like, I do not have the time for that. But I know people feel a way about the situation, various people involved. Me, it's not all positive, right? I understand that too. I'm just saying be mindful. And if any part of this for you is in your mind, I'm supporting a Black woman, it's really important that you understand where the hell I am, what my perspective is. Because if you think in any way, shape, or form that somebody getting on the internet and saying, I apologize to Absa4, don't come to me like high fives. That was for you. That was not for me. And I understand that you feel like you need a validation point. I understand that. Because people want nothing more than to be validated, right? So I understand that you want a validation inflection. You want that to happen. And you have your own relationship with public figures, artists you like or don't like. You do whatever it is that you feel that you would do. And just remember, when it comes to me and mine, okay, this is where I am. Physically and mentally. Yeah, I am just like, just keep that in mind because it would be a problem if y'all got that and came over to me like, look what we did. And I'm like, that ain't it, chat. You'd be like, bitch, why you ain't never tell us? Well, I'm not the one that was demanding the apology. Several people have been, and I can't tell them to stop. And I haven't told anybody to. I haven't reached out to anybody, haven't told them what to say, haven't told them what to stop saying, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just speaking for myself here. I'm the smallest channel involved in this situation. I have to deal with also a sexist algo that doesn't push me the way it pushes men, period. That's just a fact. So everybody who's talking about me is going to be louder than me. But I'm still going to speak for myself. And then this will be a reference point for people to look at if they care what the Black woman in the situation actually has to say, is actually thinking. Damn, that was fast. So, but y'all are the shit. Okay? If we were in a private space and I'm not, not out there amongst mixed company, I'd have more to say. But I'm not going to do that tonight. Yeah. Don't ask me where it goes. I just know where it doesn't. It's a flawed system within, ultimately a parasocial community. We all are. I've never met a looter. I've never met another YouTuber in person. I got strong feelings about y'all. Strong, big, warm, fuzzy, defensive, potentially violent feelings about y'all. I feel that way about some YouTubers as well. That's why I was like, oh Lord Jesus. Folks about to see a whole new side of me. And that started with the dirty Canadian, where I was like, okay. Somebody grab my bow. I'm gonna have to go to Canada. But anyway. That would be wild. Any crossover, and there is a lot of crossover in our communities. Like sometimes it's 99%, sometimes it's 25%, but there's crossover. I be seeing y'all. I be seeing y'all in these YouTube streets. Oh, I didn't know nothing about that white boy up until that situation. Till he started counting 37 niggas. I didn't know nothing about that boy. And I honestly can't remember what I heard first. I think I heard about a video about, the 37 niggas first, but very shortly thereafter, he got dragged back to the Stone Age by one Justin Hunt. That was a time, y'all. Oh, we were so innocent then, remember? We felt so invigorated and full of hope about what was possible for the culture. Yeah, we in it now. We in it now. It's muddy. It kind of stinks sometimes, You don't like everybody. Somebody keeps touching me. You know what I mean? That's what it is. We're all here together, beloved. We're all here together. Thank you, beautiful. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got a comment from him as well, from him on a video earlier. I still maintain what I said the other day when I was talking about, my kind of reaction to black women aren't bitches. We'll just go with that, right? Um, even though we in it and it stink and stop touching me, all that's going on right now. I still think we're fucking awesome. I still think what has happened over the past couple years, and I sound so corny, the new connections that have been made, and but no, for real. Y'all really did shake up the algo and make space for really insightful people who make content, right? They're not content creators, they're people who make content. Y'all shook up the algo and, you know, cracked that ceiling and got a bunch of people through and really have established a solid little corner for yourselves. It's not perfect. We don't like everybody. But it's great, it is. It is. So any one of us standing up for the other, especially publicly, visibly, that a lot of people are like, "Well, that should be the norm." Sure, it should be the norm. It should. Not everybody has the same value systems, and some folks is compromised. Some folks straight up the opposite. So, but when we get it and we have a moment of clarity and again, I sound so fucking corny. Unification, devil get behind me. Don't let these people play in your fucking face and tell you you're too stupid or short-sighted to understand, or you're just a broke content creator who, focuses on rage bait. Why would he even put him in there if he wasn't in the original video that Quality was reacting to? Because he fucking felt like it, because he creates content, because it sparked something, because that's what folks do. And because it was a good example. It just was a good example. It's not a new idea. This is not a new concept. I'm old, and even I know Quality is not introducing some new shocking subject. Lupe Fiasco and lyricism, that is not a new thing at all. I mean, it's just little old me over here in my little old corner, but baby, come the fuck on. This has literally been going on for what, literally damn near since day one. This has been going on. It's not new. Not a year, not 5 years, not 10 years, not 15 years. It has been going on forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever, beloved. Forever, ever. Gosh, y'all moving quickly. So some of this is just absurd. Some of this is just absurd. No. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're not just gonna play dumb, beloved, and act like the mere introduction of the topic is somehow disrespectful to the legacy of anybody. This is a regular conversation. And I think what's important is that just like people want to make a massive amount of space for the perception or the ears of rappers listening to rap, you're going to have to keep that same energy for the people who actually listen to it. And that's on the periodic table, sis. You can't excommunicate the audience from the conversation. And just because somebody makes content on the internet does not mean that they're not a part of the audience with an opinion and insight of their own. I need a gavel. I'm trying to think about what do I say? Gavel. I need a gavel. You'd think that would be common sense. You know, like people who go to a restaurant and pay for food to eat it have an opinion on how it tastes, how much it costs, if the restaurant is good, et cetera, et cetera. You're not supposed to have an opinion. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on now. Some of us is in our 40s. Let's not do that. Nope, they're just broke and desperate. Just rage baiting, just trying to get attention. That level of reductiveness was wild. I mean, the irony. Chat, anybody the irony of what is happening on a content creator's channel live, where there are other people who create content for the internet, talking about content creators just dumb, broke, don't get it, fixated on the wrong thing, not able to understand what was actually said, because people don't actually want to listen. Right? They don't actually want to listen. Like the reductive conclusions. Woo, child. And we've talked about this over the past couple of days. There are some things that you can only get away with on the internet. Because IRL, that's why I was out of my house till 9 o'clock last night. No. We right here. Say it to our face. Literally. People don't want nuance. Certainly that. They don't want nuance. Nope, they don't want that. They don't want that. I was like, is it? Scroll up, read that again. Like I said, there were a couple sections where I was like, I'm going to need to run this to that mark right there. I need to see this. Turn up the volume. What'd you say? Okay. Okay. I am not going to have this conversation here. I'm just going to say that straight up. Okay? I'm not going to have that conversation here, but I will read your comment because I don't want you to think I'm ducking like I can't see it. I'm not going to. I saw it, okay? Can we talk about the difference between a lecturer and a professor? Not today. I already did a bunch of work for you, okay? I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. J Ray 513 TV. I'm over people being called a lyricist because they cram a bunch of multi-syllable words in. Well, here's, I've experienced this before. I won't get into too many details, but there are some conversations that are conveniently brought up as to be weaponized against somebody in the situation, right? Whether it's another person who is speaking or whether it is the audience. And I'm going to stop there. Pay Black women, okay? Who's your top 5? Who's your big 3? Define this. What's your breakdown on, like, there's like 3 to 5 like go-tos that they pull up and they just sit there and like judge whether or not they think you belong. If you get it. And so on and so forth. So I just, there were goals and objectives by the host and the panel. And there were aspirational goals and objectives by the audience, what they wanted to see. And the audience definitely did not get what they wanted. There were definitely some people there who, because I read the whole thing, who said that they were very happy with how it went. They felt like, why would he go to the people? I think somebody said, why would he go where there are pitchforks or something like that? Why wouldn't you come to a space where, people are going to hear you out? Okay, if that's the conversation that you're going to be having, but let's not rewrite history and act like Quality wasn't willing to let anybody speak. Because there were definitely times where they just straight up shaded Quality. And then there were other times where they said things that I felt like were directed in his direction. And again, this is why I said in the video, believe what you saw with your eyes and what you heard with your ears and apply that over all the shit you've seen over the past week. You see what the pattern is. You see the type of energy that he brings. He tells you that that's what he's going to do. So let's not pretend that he just, came on to a scheduled, pre-scheduled interview that had been promoted, and then he just got attacked. He's Lupe Fiasco. He is in the lyricism conversation until the earth is swallowed by the fucking sun. I read that. I'm just gonna leave your comment here. I read that. I did see that in the transcript, yes. Mhm. But, hee hee ha ha. Oh, how funny. That shit's not funny. The irony. That's playing in your face. That is playing in your face. Baby, I already know. I've heard several horror stories over 2 decades, all Twitter stuff. Yeah, it's a reductive, let me tamp this person down to just a thirsty leech who is so pathetic out there in the world that they're making money off of making videos on YouTube. Isn't that pathetic? What? I'm sorry. Where am I watching this video? On YouTube? Did you make this video on YouTube talking about other people on YouTube is broken? Oh my good, that air of it, like, well, you know. This, except for Twitter. So I feel like we've had a fair and balanced conversation. Okay. Let me find an unrelated graphic to put on the screen as we get ready to transition. Lord of mercy. How y'all doing? How you feeling? You doing all right? You feeling all right? I mean, honestly, just like fucking exhausted, perimenopausal, black woman titties for everybody. I don't know what else you want me to. I'm literally propping myself up right now. Okay. Okay. Here we go. The official program has concluded. For those of you who may be new and wondering what the hell just happened, we are in the long black goodbye. And if you don't know what that is, ain't nobody gonna tell you. Okay. But welcome. You're welcome to be here. And if you do know what that means, double welcome, babes. Double welcome. Gotta fix a cheesecake soon. You could have kept that to yourself. In the clouds. Hey, whatever's working for you. Now, if you are new, you're gonna be like, okay, is this the woman who just gave a full presentation on, you know, event remixing? Yes, it is. Chris with a K. K sharp. To the front. What is it that you want to ask? To the front. Okay, well, that's fine. You'll have this to run back forever. I consider you in the front of the room. Everybody say happy birthday to K Sharp. And this is a nice little inside treat for K Sharp. Okay, if you're new, you're new. If we like you, you might get a titty shimmy on your birthday. We'll see how it goes. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Titty shake. Happy birthday to you, beautiful. Happy birthday. Oh, I know it's over. Calm down. It's done. Goodness. Okay, this is hilarious. I literally heard this in my head. Cake, 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 cake. Absa Monroe only comes out for the special birthdays. Okay, you can't be somebody who just popped up in here the first time and be like, it's my birthday too. I'd be like, here's your balloon. Happy birthday. Chris with a K, special. You are a treasured member of this community. For sure, for sure. Well, it's almost Friday. What's the match looking like? Anybody got the get the screen? Anybody got the score? It's not over, is it? Oh my God, is it over? I really feel like you can throw down. Okay, Croatia lost. All right. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one that I'm going to be spending my evening with. Portugal won. Okay. Great. Portugal beat Croatia. Okay, great. Okay, good. Good. I have been literally just listening to this morning. Legit. Well, last night. It was like 2:30 in the morning, but yes. I was like, I need some, man, the beat work on that album is sick. I was like, I need that. Yeah, good juju for Senegal tonight. Good juju for Senegal. Still listening to it. Yuppers. The European matches are boring because the technique is different. I am definitely more of a women's fan than I am a men's as well. Yes, that is very true. But I had to show up for all the damn African nations this year. Woo! Yeah. I mean, it's been heartfelt. A little harrowing, but represent. Got coaches butt hurt. Africa has too many slots. Hey, dumb fuck. Africa is not one place. It's a continent. How about we go with Europe has too many slots? Right. Then you'd want to get specific about how many countries there are and how many. You pipe down. Shit. Africa is the past, present, and future. You better pull yourself together. Stay mad. Oh, are you kidding me? I would listen. You are so lucky that I am not your neighbor because I'd be like, okay, so what are all the things that we could do with this? What about hot honey butter? Honey butter and then a hot honey butter? I mean, that sounds like it could be really great. Oh, yeah, and then there's this. Listen, 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 listen. Listen, 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 listen. Don't set off fireworks, okay? Go to the official thing. Don't set off fireworks. You're gonna either burn something down or you're gonna traumatize all the fur babies and some adults and some kids, but you probably gonna set something on fire. I've already told my fire story several times. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But a several $100,000 house did burn to a full-on crisp, to a pile of ashes, and the fire was started by 1 bottle rocket. Also, 2 cars were also gone. Yeah. There was a car in the garage, nice car. There was a car in the driveway, nice car. So, just don't. Somebody keeps setting shit off loud, big boomy stuff at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And thankfully, the past 2 nights I've happened to have been awake. But I can hear dogs on both sides just pissed and owners cursing because they were asleep. You're gonna blow off your fingers, you're gonna burn some shit down, and you're gonna piss everybody off. Stop it now. Oh, baby, we were the M80. I know we went over M100s. I know we had M80s and M100s. My uncle, I mean, he was the best, but he would show up with stuff, and then we'd just be like, we're not gonna ask any questions. It was the 80s, okay? It was the 80s. It is 2026. Everything is on fire, okay? And then there's that. What are we doing? What are we doing? No. Shit, I'd be hard pressed to get some sparklers. Nah. And sparklers always make the little kids, happy. I used to I have a new wave of nieces and nephews, but the older wave of nieces and nephews when they were little, one thing that I would cop every 4th of July was a shit ton of sparklers. Safely stored because they don't make any noise. They're great all summer long and into the fall, and little kids love them. I was the coolest, okay? Because I light some shit on fire, hand it right to a 3-year-old. Can you stand? Can you walk? Can you understand? No, don't eat that. Hold it over here. Then you can have one. Shit. Oh, you burned your cheek. I told you, hold it over there. Every child gets a sparkler burn. It'll be fine. Again, I was born in the 70s. Yeah. Drink out the hose. It 4th of July is not more than culture. You want some fire? Here. Don't let me get the ones that are different colors. This is why I am beloved. Yeah. Oh, and then there's this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Go to the range and let your chopper sing. I mean, that's when you just put some spit on it. Rub it. You'll be fine. It's okay. And then you give them half a popsicle. Fire in one hand, popsicle in another? Yeah. I be knowing what I'm doing. First of all these little motherfuckers outnumber us, okay? I immediately am like, well, I'm gonna ingratiate them to my side. That's a whole political conversation. I damn near cussed out a friend of mine just out of I was like, "What? You didn't say anything?" Who works for a major corporation in the United States, and they took Juneteenth off the calendar, and she was like, "Oh no, I had to take the day. I had to like go in and say I'm taking the day off. I just assumed that because it was taken off of the company calendar, it was taken off like the national calendar." And I almost shook her violently. I was, that is not how it works. I was so like, oh my god. Whoo, yeah, that's not how it works. Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, I do the same shit that my favorite aunties and uncles did when I was little. I'm already knowing. I know, I'm not trying to tempt you because, here I am over here like, "Please don't start a fire." We can't handle it right now. But yeah, you can. You can get sparklers in different colors. I definitely remember blue and like a reddish and then the white and then the gold. Those are the 4 that I remember. And oh, this happens too. Oh, definitely. We also lit my sister on fire with sparklers as kids in her only good coat. Oh, not the coat. That shit'll go up like that. And she had to keep wearing it. Oh, that is the worst. Oh, and I mean, I it is after dark. Pop something else to celebrate having some time off. Get creative. What else can you pop besides gunshots and boom booms? Pop it. Enjoy. See? See? We cannot burn the house down before the mortgage is paid off. My goodness, this is really big, which usually I'm like, I don't like that. But all of a sudden, words went from blurry, I got to focus to, oh, that's really big. I just want to say thank you for being a real person. You and Koala make me want to be a better person. I strive to be as real as you guys. For real, for real. Life is so fake at times. I love y'all. Time to flip up these trucks. Time to fill up these trucks. Do you, beautiful. Do you. Have a wonderful night. We're gonna get off of here soon, but I just wanted to, hang out with you a little bit. Oh, this is fan fucking tastic. Peach cobbler is one of my favorite things to take home from wherever it came from or wherever I picked it up from, right? Right? Wherever I acquired the peach cobbler from, okay? It could literally be a driveway, it could be a restaurant. It's one of my favorite things to take home because it only gets better the next day if it survives the night. I haven't eaten a fucking thing all day. That's why I said when this live started, I'm a little, woohoo. Cause yeah, I genuinely didn't have time in order to get get my brain to work, to process, to put some, cohesive thoughts together, write it, record it, make the graphics, edit it, uploading again. It's like there are sometimes when I upload and it's like it can be a 15-minute video and like in 45 seconds, YouTube is like, got it, uploaded. And then I've got like, a little like that little 4-minute shebang thing I did. YouTube was like, come back in 3 hours. This is gonna take a minute. The fuck? Just to upload? So it was one of those. It wasn't 3 hours, but it was cutting it close. I thought I was gonna have to push this, but I didn't have to. Yay. Driveway cobbler underrated. Thank you so much. Lobster and the cobbler, like, fuck. God, you're making me want some lobster macaroni and cheese. Finding Nemo. Well, I don't know about your childhood because I don't know how old you are. Were you a Disney kid or a Pixar kid? Let's start there. Were you a Disney kid or were you a Pixar kid? Okay, now you're just bragging. This happens often here. We'll start talking about food and then just one thing leads to another. And I'm, constantly coming here like, I have not eaten. And today, again, right before the live, maybe about 45 minutes before the live, I was like, I have not eaten anything. Am I going to get through alive without eating? Do I have something super fast? Like if I haven't eaten all day, I can't snacky. I have to, like layer in the sustenance in a certain order. Snacky will probably make me sick. So I was like, I'm gonna have to have a full meal. Do I have anything that is full meal in 15 minutes? No, I don't. Everything's fucking frozen. Awesome. Way to prepare. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna do this and hope we don't pass out. You can buy me dinner. Oh, both a Disney and a Pixar kid. I mean, I would just suggest, Googling like top 10 rated G movies and I like to do it by generation because children, I think one thing that is important to do for children, I have nothing to base this off of, okay, other than the fact that I grew up through a lot of the changes of animation, as I'm sure you did as well, but I'm a little bit older. And one of the things that I was really careful to do with my kids is like they saw Pete's Dragon. So I would do top 10 PG movies and then go by decade and then come up with a list that way because you'll recognize most of them, or you can do a quick lookup and then like a bunch of us can throw out ideas, right? But you'll have more time to yourself. You don't have to catch everything in the chat. That's typically what I do. And I would do that with like top children's books of this period of time because sometimes it's like you just need to jog your own memory. And I've told the chat several times that I was extremely intentional with my children about making sure that they saw and the things that I saw as a kid that were formative to me, and that they read the things that I read as a kid and throughout my, childhood that were formative to me. Oh, Fievel, don't get me started. We're not going to cry. Okay, it's been a good day. And then you'll know your child, right? Because somebody suggested, Aladdin. You might be thinking to yourself, Aladdin, like Jafar, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever, right? You might be like, that might be a little bit too much. So, because your child, we can have all the recommendations in the world. I do stand by Finding Nemo, though. I do stand by that one because I've seen so many different children of so many ages see that movie that I feel like it's watch you come back in a couple days and be like, well, they're traumatized because they saw the fishy get chased by the shark. But yeah. All Dogs Go to Heaven is good. Land Before Time is good. Bug's Life, yes. Ants, no. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. All right, chat. I'm going to go. This was good. Keep your portion of the YouTube streets, clean. And don't let the, biscuit head assery swerve into your lane either. Don't do that. Defensive driving for the win, right? We're going to finish our day. It's going to be great. We're going to get up tomorrow. We're going to have Friday. It's going to be great. I don't know if you're going to see me. I'm not planning on being here because I was not planning on being here today. And I am not, I'm sick. I need to, take a minute. But if it fucking pops off, oh, like I said, the way I got up so fast. I was like, nope, I know this is going to take a long time. Hopefully I'll be done by 5:30 and be able to go live. And we did it, chat. Yay, us. So if under necessity I got to do that again, I'll do that again. But let's just be the adults in the fucking room, whether we like it or not. For now, things could change. Some aspects of this feel kind of fluid. We might have to reassess our approach. Okay. I reserve the right to change my mind 5 minutes from now, let alone tomorrow or the next day or the next day after that. But as of right now, drop a pin in my place. This is where I'm at with it. Okay. Before I go, I want to say what I said the other day, but I'm going to say it again for anybody who missed it. I literally cannot express, and I'm too tired to get all, squishy and teary, my appreciation for you all. Whether you like this channel, whether you're new to this channel, whether you've rocked with this channel from the beginning. I said jokingly the other day, in terms of not this channel, but our corner of YouTube, there's something happening here, right? What it is might not be exactly clear. But what is very clear and what people are experiencing that is a positive for them is a shared right, a shared experience of a lot of things, right? Frustration, validation, joy, rage, right? And I think ownership as well. Ownership of what it is that we do, because we, as the people who are creating content, don't do nothing without you. We don't get nothing off without you being here. Without you being out in these streets, right? Whatever the thing is, however you want to, qualify that for yourself. No pun intended. You is kind and you is important. Well, baby, you better come back. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah, you better come back. So, I appreciate you. And, for people who are like, mentioning me or other people who, are speaking their mind and saying, like, I want to be more like you when when I grow up. We want to be more like us when we grow up. This shit is hard. Okay, it's not easy. It's not easy to try and fucking comport yourself against a bunch of people who don't give a shit, because you're really trying to reach the people that do. It's not easy when you know that people are looking to you. Some people, again, just looking for a reaction and add that to their little, pot of tea. And then other people are like, I need some perspective because this is fucked. And so that is why we had this live. That is why I made this video, was in validation of you. And some of you are going to be like, nah, I don't feel better. That's perfectly fine. I'm not necessarily trying to make you feel better. I'm literally just trying to validate that how you feel is valid and put it into some kind of, digestible format. That's my offering. So I appreciate you all. I hope you have a wonderful night. If I don't see you this weekend, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all very soon. Peace.